Hello again, I am Blunty. Now, when it comes to gaming PCs, you've got basically three options, three and a half options really. The first one is gaming laptops, wonderful things, I love them. You just buy them and you're done, easy. Then you've got the off-the-shelf ones. This is where the 0.5 comes in, because you've got two different kinds of off-the-shelf. You've got the off-the-shelf that is literally just off-the-shelf from MSI or Lenovo or Dell or HP or whoever. You just buy it, open the box, plug it in, away you go. Then you've got the off-the-shelf but custom-built ones that the PC specialist stores do. So they, DIY it for you if you don't have the time, or you don't want to learn how to do it, or you're just too intimidated to do it, or you just want someone else to do the work for you because you've got more important things to do and you don't think it's fun to build your own PC. You're wrong, because it is fun and addictive. But that is also the third option, by the way. Of course, build it yourself. Select all the parts by hand, build the exact precise machine that you want, and have the satisfaction of having that sit on your desk. I built that to my precise specifications, and that's my preferred method because it's fun to do, and the sense of accomplishment and pride and I did this kind of thing is quite rewarding for me, at least, and many of you, I assume, as well. But there is another type of PC, with the all-in-one PC, usually preserved for either low-power, business, boring tasks, or in some cases, like Apple's iMacs, for example, are designed for content creation specialists. So they are quite powerful, not very good for gaming, though, because one Mac, but there are PC versions of the kind of things that you could technically game on. They don't market it as gaming machines, though. They just market it as powerful production tools. But from time to time, you see someone try to do one of those all-in-ones as a gaming product and sold and under the banner of a gaming product. And Colourful, I've got the press release sitting next to me here, and it caught my eye this morning because it's been a while since we've seen someone really try this. And Colourful are better known for their graphics cards, the motherboards. I think they've also got some cooling solutions. It's not really a brand that's very big in Australia. You see it pop up from time to time on some storefronts, and then they kind of disappear again. I don't know what the deal is with distribution in Australia, whether they're officially sold here or they're all imports. Or it's just not a brand I have any direct experience with myself, but I hear about a lot because, like I said, they do produce a lot of graphics card, bigger in Asia, I think. Not sure about the US or New Zealand or UK or wherever the rest of my audience is from, but let me know in the down below area if it's a common brand where you're from and how you feel about it. And the kind of purpose of an all-in-one PC is usually just tidiness. The monitor, all the brains, all the bits and pieces, the cooling, the hard drives, it's just tidy. One clean, elegantly designed unit sits on your desk in the space that a monitor would usually take up. The trade-off for that, though, is, of course, upgradability. With a proper desktop unit, upgrading is simple, easy, and very, very flexible. With the all-in-ones, they're basically like laptops that don't have batteries in them, just bigger screens. The upgrade path is either nil or extremely limited. Maybe you can upgrade the storage, maybe the memory, not always. Certainly upgrading the screen is out because the screen is part of the whole thing. The motherboard is usually custom, so you can't do that. CPU might or might not be replaceable. Memory, you might only have 2 memory slots instead of the usual 4 you get on most motherboards, so that, you might have to swap that out completely. A little bit harder, just kick it up a notch. You see what I'm getting at. But as far as PC gaming from a desktop machine goes, upgradability is usually pretty important. We want to know there's an upgrade path, so when we get 2, 3, 4 years into the life cycle of that PC and it starts struggling to run the latest AAA games at sort of the highest settings, we want to know there's an upgrade. Well, we want to know you can just yoink out the graphics card, slap a new one in, yoink out the CPU, slap a new one in, or add more memory, or I'm constantly adding more hard drives to mine every 6 months or so. Oh, need another SSD. So let me read you the press release a bit here from Colourful Technology Company Limited, professional manufacturer of graphics card motherboards and high-performance storage. Oh, storage. They also do storage. Forgot about that. Is thrilled to announce its latest AIO creation for gamers, featuring the latest in gaming hardware for the most unrivaled gaming experience in an all-in-one PC yet. The new colourful iGame, they're up all night thinking of that name, weren't they? The iGame. It's a dated thing, putting an I in front of a verb or a noun or whatever. The iGame G1 all-in-one PC packs powerful hardware in a slim display, removing the need for a dedicated tower for your components. The iGame G1 all-in-one PC features stylish yet aggressive design, which is sure to get attention whatever setting, whether it be work or play. The colourful iGame G1 all-in-one PC is expected to have an MSRP of around $5,000, by the way. Buried the lead bit there, didn't I? $5,000. Why would you pay $5,000 for this thing? Performance to the next level, they go on. The new iGame all-in-one PC. Join me next week when I do the entire video in English. The new iGame G1 all-in-one PC features the latest in colourful engineering. To make this feat possible and its performance is on the... Wait. Let me read that again. The latest in colourful engineering to make this feat possible and its performance is on the next level. That's a weird sentence, isn't it? Seems awkward. A 9th generation Intel Core i9-8950HK. Whew. I haven't had the chance to play with one of those yet, but I have used the desktop family member equivalent of that, and it's... Yes, but that is the mobile chip, by the way. That's not the desktop chip. That is absolutely the mobile chip. You can tell by the HK. That means the mobile one. It does mean the overclockable mobile one, so... but yeah, despite being a desktop PC, of course, like we said before, its innards are more inspired by laptop design than anything else, just to get it in that form factor. So that's the first slight compromise. It also has a GeForce RTX 2080 graphics card, again, the mobile variant I would expect, so the clocks are probably a bit lower than you would find on a full-on desktop one, just to make sure you can actually cool the thing properly in that sort of slim form factor. Both key components are cooled by an efficient but high-power cooling system, so it keeps the CPU and GPU running in top condition. That's odd phrasing there, running in top condition. The condition doesn't degrade. They're solid-state components, so the condition doesn't degrade based on how much. Play the latest in titles and high-resolution details thanks to the powerful CPU-GPU combo, and never bother about slowing down when the action heats up. So apparently the cooling is good enough that it doesn't thermal throttle is what they're trying to say there. Esport ready display with HDR and hi-fi audio. I can't see anyone who's interested in esports paying $5,000 for an all-in-one. The esports crowd have very comparatively low expectations. You don't need a 2080 and an i9 for esports stuff. You just don't. And they're not... I've talked to many esports people about this, and the kind of hardware they like having is not the kind of hardware that I would build for a gaming machine. Let's just say that. A lot of esports people don't understand the hardware, is what I'm saying. I've talked to them at length about this and had many arguments, in fact, with them about monitor technology and screen technology and stuff. And they're under a lot of misconceptions about what makes a good gaming thing. It's just, I don't know where they're getting their information from. It's just a little esports echo chamber. And someone needs to step in and educate them. It's not going to be me, though. I've had those arguments too many times. I just got fed up with them in the end. Just walked away. The colourful iGame G1's display is aimed at those that see high performance and great image quality. The iGame G1 features a 144Hz refresh rate, ding, and a 2560 by 1440 resolution. Ding. I mean, if you're running a 1440p screen, 144Hz with a RTX 2080, that's pretty much a sweet spot. So they've balanced that well. That is going to run games quite nicely. And it is certified HDR 400, which is not a very good HDR. Basically, the bigger that number is after HDR, the better the HDR is. HDR 400 is like the lowest possible certification, I think. Is there one lower than that? I don't think there is. I've used HDR 400 screens. It's not worth it. It makes so little difference. It's pointless. The display is an IPS panel with a 95% DCI-P3 rating and 99% sRGB rating, so the screen's probably pretty good. The IPS panel allows for vibrant colors as well as great viewing angles up to 178 degrees. Colorful uses ESS Saber 9018C2M Saber 32 reference DAC for lifelike audio. Not familiar with that. But if they're bragging about it, it's probably decent. I mean, name a bad DAC that's stock on a motherboard these days. Motherboards have pretty decent audio these days. It never used to be the case. Some are quite awful. But these days, you couldn't name one. It just has bad audio, so it's probably fine. Connectivities include Wi-Fi 2.4G and 5G dual channel support for wide compatibility. Interesting, it doesn't have... They don't go out of the way to mention Wi-Fi 6. And there's no other details here to mention whether or not that is Wi-Fi 6 or not. But if it's running an i9 chip, it should have. Because that chipset does support Wi-Fi 6, so... and presumably also it doesn't mention, but presumably because it's an all-in-one, it's a desktop unit, it probably has Ethernet on there as well. You would hope so. So, $5,000 for that. I'm not sure that represents good value. I'm sure if you did the math on 144 Hertz, 1440p panel, plus i9, plus RTX 2080, plus all the other bits you need to wrap around that to make them work together, if you DIY'd, I don't know. Actually, you know what? After I'm done recording, I'm going to go to PC Part Picker or something and slap something together real quick to see if you get a general idea of the price we're dealing with. But yeah, for something you probably don't have a very long upgrade path on, if at all, I think you would be better off spending that money on a gaming laptop. One of those desktop replacement ones. I would just DIY at this point. If you had $5,000 budget to just flat out DIY, I would definitely DIY. I don't know. Is there anyone out there who would buy this, and why would you buy it? Let me know in the down below, because I mean, it looks like a pretty unit, and I'm sure it's going to look good on the show floor. They'll have them at their booth at Computex, I'm sure, and things like that. You know, it's a slick looking thing, super clean and tidy. But that's about all I see in it. Anyway, just caught my eye this morning as something kind of unusual, so I wanted to have a bit of a rattle about it and find out how you guys feel about it. Thanks for watching. I'm Blunty. I'll catch you next time.